Okay. While I was wiping down the board, I realised that we hadn't actually dealt with Hippocratic Oath. Okay, so we'd like to actually have a positive version. So let's bring up a Hippocratic Oath on Wikipedia because it's such an incredible service that we have globally. So if you can actually put in a little bit of cash for Hippocratic Oath, then you should, until they actually adopt Sqale, the economic for sharing. Okay. Until that happens, just give them a bit of cash to let them continue the job. Now, the Hippocratic Oath happens to be not an article. Don't think they had articles back then, but they did have its text, and it describes a principle, which is a ritual which medics, even to this day it seems in some countries, although I haven't actually checked the evidence of that, actually recite in order to become doctors. Now, two of the principles of this ritual appears to be medical confidentiality and non-maleficence. Okay, medical confidentiality and non-maleficence, i.e. do no harm, non-maleficence, and medical confidentiality, in order not to divulge anything about your ailments that you divulge to the medic, and they do not divulge them to anybody else. Okay, so that's kind of reasonable. Okay, those are quite reasonable things. But both of them are kind of negative. Okay, do not pass this on. Do not pass on this information to other people. Privacy. And the other one is do not cause harm. Okay, do not harm. And both of those are very reasonable. The Dr. Hippocrates. 468 to 370 BC. An oath. Very good. Now, what would be, in terms of our social science, so we expand medical science, okay? Remember now, he wasn't a scientist, okay? Their understanding of the body, various aspects of the body, wasn't particularly sophisticated. So it's interesting that we've still got the attitude, let's say, the oath and the principles, which Hippocrates, I can't say it anymore, okay, and doctors actually recite, okay. It's quite interesting that this oath, so considering we are shifting, or we are attempting to suggest that a social science, which contains within it medical science, but we're expanding the objective methodology, methods for objects, expanding that to go, wait a minute, it's us doing this science subject. So we're including ourselves in that. And when the subject is, we're trying to examine aspects of our psychology or sociology or so on and so forth, it's actually a relational endeavor. So it's not going to be, so what would be the translation of these oaths, okay, into an appropriate relational social science? So we're actually looking at the positive version of this, because we're looking at a positive psychology. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, here's a guess for it. I just like the idea of this. So, you know, medical confidentiality. Well, transparency. Number one, transparency. Okay, social transparency, because the medical confidentiality is to do with an individual's health, whereas what we're interested in are social health. So we're committed to a social cohesion. And remember, it's like the third social fact. First social fact is I'm aware that I am actually taking part in this. Second social fact is that I'm going to share this with other people. Okay, and the combination of those, that you're aware, like now, that you're aware that I actually exist. Thank you very much. And that there are other people that are actually paying attention to this also. We're all kind of existing at the same moment relative to this text. Okay, and so in order to kind of honor that, if we're going to have an oath, then it's going to be social transparency. We're not honoring the individual, we're honoring the social. So therefore, it is required that we have social transparency. So with our economic system, for example, we should be having, our tendency should be for transparency of our economic process. I know that at some point down the pipeline, I think we're going to be having privacy, so people can privacy, and so other people cannot see what their values and so on and so on are. I'm not sure if that's going to extend to credits and how many credits people have. I don't know. We haven't worked that out. So currently, it is in fact transparent. Now, what's the other one then? If we have social transparency, we're endeavouring to be transparent in our social engagements. The other one would be non-maleficence. Well, beneficence, I guess. Beneficence. Where is this? Beneficence, maybe? I'm not sure. Beneficence. I'm not sure. Non-maleficence, i.e. do not cause harm. And this one is beneficence. Actually be positively cause good things to happen to other people. You're actually attempting to help people positively. So it's not a matter of causing harm, i.e. preventing death, which seems to be causing so many problems actually even within medicine. This is beneficence, as in collective beneficence or individual beneficence. One attempts to, what about unilateral? Unilateral. Okay, so one's actually attempting unilaterally to cause goodness for others. How about that? So that's, for example, two principles of Hippocratic Oath which seem to align to our potential reflexive reading and the three social facts and social science, or a subjective social science, or a social system science. Whatever it is that we're going to describe it, I don't really care what we call these things, as long as we're practicing some of these things. So in the same way that I have an oath and a doctor attempts to practice those principles, so potentially we could actually say, okay, I'm going to do this, this kind of social science, social transparency and unilateral beneficence. Okay, are we good? I just wanted to add that. I don't think I had anything more to add to that, so it's just a little extra bit. All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much again.